The training room shimmered with silver light, walls pulsating faintly like the heartbeat of some living machine. Inside, rows of alien cadets stood in perfect formation, bodies armored with carapace and glimmering scales, eyes like molten glass, each awaiting the next command. The air was electric with tension and the smell of ionized metal. At the center stood Instructor Varric, a hulking reptilian being from the Xeran Dominion, known across 4 sectors for producing warriors so ruthless that even the Empire's elite avoided them in close combat. His voice was a low rumble, resonating through the bones of everyone in the room. "Today," Varric barked, "we welcome a new specimen into our ranks. A human." The cadets erupted into laughter. Hissed. One chittered mockingly, pounding its claws against its chest. The human in question, Lieutenant Mason Reeve, Earth's first exchange trainee under the Galactic Combat Coalition, stood in the center of the ring, wearing nothing but a simple training uniform and a quiet look of focus. He was tall for a human, though among the towering alien recruits he seemed fragile. His muscles were visible but lean, his hands scarred from years of terrestrial training. A faint cut on his cheek glistened under the bright training lights. "Step forward, human," Varric commanded. Mason obeyed, meeting the alien's burning yellow eyes without flinching. Varric grinned, sharp teeth catching the light. "You will demonstrate your combat capabilities. Show us how a primitive mammal fights." There was laughter again. Mason ignored it. He raised his fists into a guard position. "I'll try not to embarrass your students," he said evenly. That earned a low growl from the instructor. "Oh, you will try, human." Varric gestured to one of the cadets, a towering insectoid warrior named Creel, whose arms ended in gleaming chitinous blades. "Face the human," Varric ordered. "Do not kill him. Merely demonstrate dominance." Creel chittered in amusement, stepping forward with predatory grace. "This will be brief." The room fell silent except for the faint hum of the containment field that surrounded the sparring area. Mason flexed his hands, exhaled, and took a single step forward. Varric crossed his arms. "Begin." Creel lunged, a blur of speed and glittering blades. Mason dodged right, barely escaping the strike, feeling the heat of the alien's motion brush past him. He countered with a jab, a quick, efficient movement, but it struck harmlessly against Creel's chitin armor. The alien didn't even flinch. Laughter erupted again. Creel hissed mockingly. "That was your punch." Mason shook his hand out, flexing his knuckles. "Testing range," he muttered. Varric's laughter boomed. "Pathetic. You hit like a hatchling." "Yeah," Mason replied, raising his fists again. "That's what they all say." The next blow from Creel came fast, a sweeping arc meant to disembowel. Mason ducked beneath it, rolled forward, and slammed a left hook into the alien's abdomen. Again the sound was dull, a thud that barely dented the carapace. Creel stepped back, not even winded. "You humans are fragile things." Mason exhaled slowly. "Guess we'll see." "Enough," Varric said, stepping forward. "Your physiology is inferior. Your reflexes are primitive. But perhaps," his grin widened, "you can learn pain." He turned to Mason, pointing toward a reinforced alloy wall that lined the far side of the training arena. "Strike that wall," he ordered. Mason frowned. "The wall?" "Yes. Show us your human strength." The cadets laughed again. Mason walked over, placed his palm against the metal. It was dense. He could feel the magnetic pulse of the containment field woven through it. Solid, likely 5 times harder than steel. "Now punch," Varric growled. Mason wound his fist back and threw a clean, compact strike. The sound rang out, a dull clang. His knuckles stung, and the wall was unmarred. The laughter was immediate and deafening. Some cadets doubled over. Even Varric's chest shook with mirth. "Behold the mighty human," one shouted. Varric's eyes gleamed with cruel amusement. "Pitiful. Even a hatchling could dent it. Are you certain your species evolved beyond sticks and stones?" Mason looked down at his knuckles, bruised, a faint trickle of blood seeping through the skin. He exhaled through his nose. Then, without a word, he took a step back, closed his eyes and pressed his hands together. Varric's laughter faltered slightly. "What is he doing?" "Perhaps praying," one cadet snickered. But Mason wasn't praying. He was focusing. Every lesson from Earth flooded his mind. Every drill in the gravity chambers, every muscle fiber conditioned beyond human tolerance, every nanite coursing through his bloodstream amplifying his nervous system's response time. He remembered the training beneath Titan's methane storms, the augmented exoskeletal alignment his bones had been subjected to, and the painful experimental procedure Earth's Defense Division called Project Overdrive. He opened his eyes. They glowed faintly blue. "Round 2, he said softly. The air changed. It was subtle, but Varric felt it first. A vibration, a shift in energy that prickled the edges of his scales. Mason drew his arm back again, every tendon tightening, and then he moved, faster than before, the air cracking like a thunderclap. The punch connected. The sound was not a clang this time. It was an explosion. The reinforced alloy wall rippled, cracked, and then shattered, fragments scattering across the training arena like shrapnel. The containment field flickered, alarms blaring as energy feedback surged through the floor. The laughter died instantly. Varric stared in disbelief. The human stood there, breathing evenly, smoke rising from his fist. Creel took an involuntary step back. That was impossible. Mason flexed his fingers, shaking out the tension. That was calibrated at 30%. For the first time in years, Varric was silent. Then he approached slowly, nostrils flaring. "Explain yourself." Mason turned, wiping the blood from his knuckles. "Earth's gravity is low compared to most core worlds. To compensate, our soldiers train under pressure fields 5 times heavier. Our neural pathways are augmented for adaptive combat. You wanted to see how a human fights." He nodded toward the shattered wall. "That's how we fight, after you stop laughing." The silence in the room was thick. Even the hum of the energy field seemed to hesitate. Finally, Varric let out a low growl that sounded almost like a laugh. But it was different this time. Respectful. Impressive. But strength without control is chaos. Can you fight with that same power? Mason smiled faintly. Only one way to find out. The second test. They faced each other in the center of the arena. No more mockery now, just focus. The other cadets stepped back, giving the 2 warriors a wide berth. "Activate full containment," Varric ordered. The shimmering barrier rose again, thicker now, reinforced with graviton fields. Mason rolled his shoulders, feeling the air tighten. "This is no spar," Varric warned. "You wish to train among the Dominion's best. Then survive." He lunged forward, faster than any creature Mason had seen. His claws slashed the air, sending arcs of plasma toward him. Mason ducked and weaved, the augmented reflexes kicking in. He countered with a body blow that cracked Varric's scales, but the alien barely slowed.